You've landed in the right audio space because there's some seriously interesting development happening in higher education up in Northern California. UC Davis is launching a brand spanking new undergraduate business major, set to welcome its first class in fall 2025.
That's right.
Now, for anyone tracking the UC system, you'll know that an undergraduate business degree is kind of a rare thing within these big public universities.
Yeah, definitely.
So this makes it a particularly noteworthy opportunity, especially here in the northern part of the state.
Absolutely. And today we're going to give you the inside track on exactly what this program entails. Think of this as your curated guide to understanding the key parts of the undergraduate business at UC Davis Management and Strategy Focus Stock.
Right.
We're really going deep into sections 1, 2, and 3. Our goal is to pull out the most crucial insights so you can really grasp, what makes this program tick and maybe if it aligns with what you're looking for in a business education.
Yeah, and the source material even gives us a bit of a feel for the place, doesn't it? It's got images of Maurice J. Gallagher Jr. Hall. That's the program's home base, we'll find out, and the shots of students collaborating. It starts to paint a picture.
A dynamic environment.
So let's get started, shall we? Our mission today is to really unpack the core reasons someone would pick UC Davis for business, what the core program and that management strategy specialization will actually teach you, and, what makes it stand out from the crowd.
Okay, let's tackle that first big question. Why UC Davis for business? Right off the bat, the documentation makes it clear this isn't your standard business program. They call it innovative, and interestingly, it has an official STEM designation.
A STEM designation for business. Okay, let's unpack that a bit. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty strong signal towards quantitative skills, right? Like science, tech, engineering, math in business.
Exactly. It suggests a really solid quantitative backbone, blending economics theory with practical business skills. That STEM label isn't just for show. It flags the program's deep dive into quantitative analysis and rigorous thinking.
Okay, Allie.
And just to underline how unique this is, UC Davis themselves point out they're one of only a few UC campuses launching an undergrad business major in fall 2025. So it's a distinctive choice, particularly if you want that UC experience in Northern California.
So definitely an outlier in the UC system, especially up here. And it's not just popping up from nowhere, is it? There's a specific structure behind it.
That's right. It's built on what they call a first-of-its-kind collaboration. It brings together the Graduate School of Management, the GSM, with other UC Davis colleges.
Ah, okay.
And that partnership is a real plus because it means undergrads get exposure to a wider range of faculty expertise. You're not just learning from the business school folks, you're tapping into the university's broader academic strengths.
That makes a lot of sense, getting different perspectives. The document says this foundation is really built on some core academic areas.
Precisely. A strong grounding in math, statistics, and economics is key, right alongside those core business skills. It's very interdisciplinary. And remember that picture. The undergrad program is actually housed in the Graduate School of Management in Maurice J. Gallagher Jr. Hall.
Learning alongside the grad students. That could offer some interesting, maybe informal connections or insights.
Potentially, yeah.
But let's talk careers. That's usually top of mind. The documentation seems pretty bullish on job prospects.
It is, definitely. The whole curriculum seems designed with employment outcomes in mind. There's a constant emphasis on building strong analytical and quantitative skills. For example, get this, the program requires 6 economics courses.
6? Wow. Okay, that's a lot more than usual, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Many traditional business programs might only ask for 2. This really signals a deep dive into economic principles.
So where does that kind of rigor lead? What specific career paths are they highlighting?
Well, the document specifically points to high-demand fields like consulting, data analytics, finance, and strategy. These are areas where that strong analytical ability, that economic understanding, is really prized.
Right.
And if you zero in on the management and strategy specialization, it explicitly says it preps you for roles like business analyst, management consultant, or project manager at top firms and agencies.
So pretty focused career tracks there. And being a UC Davis student in this program offers more than just the coursework, right?
Yeah.
Some extra perks.
Definitely. As a UC Davis student, you get access to the Graduate School of Management's career services. That means their industry connections, their job search resources.
Okay.
Plus, there's dedicated advising and career supports specifically for these undergraduate business majors, which is a big help when you're navigating internships and first jobs.
And location, location, location.
Yeah.
UC Davis isn't exactly in the middle of nowhere, economically speaking.
Not at all. They really play up the internship opportunities nearby. You've got Silicon Valley not too far away, plus Sacramento right there. So access to tech, government, nonprofit sectors, lots of chances for hands-on experience.
That mix of strong academics and real-world access sounds pretty compelling. And didn't the dean of the GSM have something specific to say about what makes it different?
Yes, there's a quote that really hits home. The dean emphasizes the focus on economics and analytical decision-making, calling it very different from the traditional business degree and, crucially, more in line with what business is asking right now.
Ah, so it's intentionally designed for today's economy.
That's the message. They're aiming for relevance.
And is it going to be a huge program? Or are they keeping it smaller?
That's a good point. They mentioned relatively small cohorts, planning for about 175 freshman seats each year.
Okay, 175. That could mean more personalized attention.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
And another big plus. It's direct admission into the major from day one. You apply to the major, you get into the major. No separate application process after you're already at UC Davis.
Knowing you're in from the start, that must reduce a lot of stress for students.
Absolutely. Takes away that uncertainty.
And you mentioned the location benefit earlier. It's more than just internships, right? It's the whole environment.
Yeah, exactly. UC Davis has that classic college town vibe, but it also has strong ties to the Bay Area's innovation scene and the state capital. So students get a pretty broad network and different pathways for internships and jobs after graduation.
Okay, so wrapping up the why.
Yeah.
It sounds like UC quality education, but with this really novel, economics-heavy, strategy-focused approach. It's targeting that workforce demand for analytical leaders, and it's a pretty rare find in the UC system, especially Northern California.
That sums it up well.
All right, so now that we have a good handle on why someone might choose UC Davis, let's dig into Section 2. What exactly will you learn?
Right. So Section 2 gets into the curriculum details. It's important to understand first that the management and strategy track we're focusing on is a specialization within the broader Business BS program.
Okay, so everyone starts with the same base.
Pretty much. All students build that solid foundation through core business education first. Then they can choose to specialize. Think of the BS as the main trunk, and management and strategy is one specific branch you can climb.
Got it. And is there a clear progression to the coursework?
Yes, it's laid out in 3 stages. First up are foundational courses, economics, math, communication, the essentials. Then you move into the core business classes covering the main functional areas. Finally, you take advanced courses in your specialization like management and strategy.
And practical stuff mixed in.
Definitely. They emphasize integrating hands-on projects and pushing for internships or research opportunities throughout.
Okay, let's break down that foundational stage first. What are the must-take courses?
Well, they really hammer home the importance of analytical and communication skills from the start. So you're looking at introductory microeconomics and macroeconomics, plus calculus, usually taken early on.
Right, builds on that quantitative focus we talked about.
Exactly. The thinking is you need that solid grasp of econ principles and quantitative reasoning before you can tackle the more advanced business analysis later.
Makes sense. So econ and math are crucial early. What else is foundational?
Statistics is another big one. There's an elementary stats course and then an applied stats course specifically for business and economics STA 103 they list. The goal is to get students comfortable interpreting data, spotting trends.
Essential skill these days.
Absolutely. Then there are 2 quarters of elementary accounting early on for financial literacy. And interestingly, UC Davis also requires an introductory course in business law, ARE 18. The document notes this is kind of unique for undergrad business.
Business law right at the start. That seems smart, actually. Gives you that legal and ethical framework early. When do students usually tackle these?
Mostly in the freshman and sophomore years. And it's worth noting, you need at least a C in these foundational courses. They're seen as essential building blocks.
Okay. Now, beyond the numbers and the law, there's also a focus on communication and maybe broader perspective.
Right. Yes, definitely. They emphasize communication skills and understanding human behavior. For English composition, there are options like Intro to Literature or Academic Literacies, but a really key piece is a mandatory professional writing course. Writing in the professions. Business writing, UWP 104A.
Ah, a dedicated business writing class.
Yeah, they flag this as a distinctive feature. The idea is clear communication, written and verbal, is crucial for leaders.
Can't argue with that. Super practical. What about that interdisciplinary piece you mentioned?
Right, so to broaden things out, students have to take an intro course in either psychology or sociology.
Psych or soc? Why those?
The rationale is it helps you understand people and society. Think about managing teams, marketing to consumers, leading organizational change, understanding individual motivations, group dynamics, societal trends. It all feeds back into business decisions. It adds that human element.
Yeah, business isn't just spreadsheets, it's people too. Okay, so after laying this groundwork, what happens in the core business courses?
Those usually kick in during sophomore and junior years. The goal here is twofold. Get a broad understanding of all the key business functions, but also keep developing those analytical tools. And this is where that heavy economics integration really shines.
How so?
Uniquely, the program requires intermediate microeconomic theory in two parts and intermediate macroeconomic theory. Often these come from the Ag and Resource Econ or the main Econ department.
Whoa, intermediate econ too, not just intro.
Right. It goes much deeper than many B-school programs. It equips students to really understand market dynamics, competition, consumer behavior, market failures, using pretty sophisticated data analysis. It's about building robust models, making smarter strategic forecasts.
So it provides the why behind business decisions using economic theory.
Exactly. It sharpens that analytical thinking about the fundamental economic forces shaping the business world.
Got it. And alongside these deeper econ courses, there are the standard business admin subjects too.
Yep. The document lists several core MGT management courses. MGT 101 covers accounting from a manager's view. MGT 120 is about managing and using information technology.
Okay.
MGT 140 is marketing, but with a specific focus on technology-based enterprises, so it sounds pretty current. MGT 180 covers supply chain planning and management operations, efficiency.
Crucial stuff.
Then there's MGT 150, technology management, focusing on innovation and new ventures. And finally, MGT 160, financing new business ventures, or an equivalent, covering finance fundamentals and VC.
That covers a lot of ground strategy, ops, marketing, finance, IT. How many core courses are there, roughly?
Around 10 core courses in total. And like the foundational ones, they all have to be taken at UC Davis with at least a C grade. They really emphasize their importance.
And it's not just lectures, right?
Yeah.
Is there a practical side to these core courses?
Absolutely. The philosophy is very much about blending theory with practice. They use case studies, team projects, hands-on lab simulations. The document mentions things like supply chain simulations or marketing analytics projects as examples.
So, very hands-on, trying to give students skills they can use right away. Okay, so after building this strong foundation and core knowledge, students specialize. Let's move into Section 3, the management and strategy specialization.
Right. So this specialization usually happens in the junior or senior year once the core is done. It involves 4 advanced courses, 4 units each, diving deeper into leadership, managing organizations, and strategic decision-making.
Okay, so this is where you really hone those specific skills.
Exactly. The goal is to develop expertise in thinking about the big picture and leading effectively. A central course here is MGT 159, Strategic Management. It's often the capstone.
The capstone, okay. What do you do in that?
You learn how to formulate and implement strategy from like a CEO or consultant's viewpoint.
Yeah.
Analyzing the competitive landscape, organizational strengths, making those big strategic choices.
Sounds essential for anyone aiming for leadership or strategy consulting. What other courses are in this specialization?
There's MGT 153, negotiations focusing on making deals and resolving conflict. Then MGT 155, teams and leadership, which gets into team dynamics, leadership styles, organizational behavior. And MGT 151, management of innovation and entrepreneurship for those interested in creating new things.
So strategy, negotiation, leadership, innovation, a solid mix. But you mentioned earlier, the economics piece carries through here too, right?
Yes, and this is really distinctive. Alongside those MGT courses, students in this specialization choose from specific interdisciplinary electives taught by economics faculty.
Ah, so not just business electives, but actual econ courses focused on strategy.
Exactly. They bring that rigorous analytical lens. For example, there's ECN 122, Theory of Games and Strategic Behavior, understanding how players interact strategically.
Game theory, okay.
There's ECN 106, Decision Making, which looks at analytical models for optimal choices under uncertainty. And ECN 121B, Industrial Organization, which examines market structures and competitive strategy from an economic angle.
Wow, those sound like they provide some serious analytical firepower, beyond maybe typical strategy frameworks.
That's the idea. They reinforce the strategic thinking from the management courses with these rigorous economics-based analytical tools. It offers a much deeper, more nuanced view of strategy.
So summing up this specialization, you get practical leadership training from the MGT courses and case studies, plus these powerful analytical strategy tools from economics.
Precisely. It's that combination. And the key skills they aim to develop are strategic planning, problem solving, negotiation, and team leadership.
Skills that are definitely in demand.
Highly valued, yes, especially in consulting, management tracks, executive development programs.
It really sounds like a thoughtfully put together specialization. Okay, so we've gone through the why, the what, and the core, and the specifics of the management and strategy track. Let's wrap up. What are the absolute key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the UC Davis undergrad business program, especially with this management and strategy focus, is genuinely unique. That STEM designation isn't just a label, it signals a deep commitment to economics and quantitative analysis, which really sets it apart.
Right.
The collaboration with the Graduate School of Management is a major advantage. Access to resources, faculty. The whole thing feels very intentionally designed for strong career outcomes in fields needing analytical and strategic minds. And the curriculum itself is comprehensive, moving from foundations to specialization with that really powerful integration of economic principles into strategic thinking throughout.
So if you're listening and seriously thinking about a business degree focused on leadership and strategy, hopefully this deep dive has given you a really clear picture of what makes the UC Davis program stand out.
Absolutely. And if this has sparked your interest, definitely check out the UC Davis website. You can find way more detail on the curriculum, the faculty, admissions, all of it. I'd suggest looking at the main UC Davis business major site and also the undergraduate section on the Graduate School of Management's website.
Good advice. Maybe one final thought for you to chew on. In today's world, business is getting more complex, more data-driven all the time, right? So how might having a STEM-designated business degree, one that really immerses you in both economics and strategic management principles, give you a distinct edge as you launch your career? Something to definitely think about